Welcome back, everybody. Looks like we're diving deep into making dreams a reality today.
Yeah, you've got a whole stack of sources here.
We do. Articles, advice, personal stories, all about reaching for those big goals.
Hmm. Even some contrarian viewpoints in there, which I always find interesting.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah.
It's good to challenge those assumptions, right?
Yeah,
So are you ready to figure out how to make those dreams happen?
absolutely. It's amazing how many of these sources highlight that balance you need.
What do you mean?
Well, dreaming big but also keeping it real, like that article, 7 Easy Ways to Turn Your Dreams into Reality. It's all about pushing your limits, but then 7 steps to achieve your dream brings in something else.
What's that?
It really emphasizes that your dream has to feel believable to actually, take root.
Okay, so believability is key. It can't be so crazy that it's just a, eye roll kind of dream.
Right.
It's got to be exciting and possible at the same time.
That possible is huge.
Yeah. It's like, okay, this is a stretch, but I could actually see myself getting there.
Because that's where the action starts.
Makes sense. What about you? When you were looking at all these sources, what kind of dream popped into your head?
Well, I think you hit it on the head with that feeling of possible, because that's often where people get stuck, as that how to finally start doing something about your dreams article points out. You have this vision, but then when you have to get specific,
Uh-oh.
that's where the fear can kick in.
Because suddenly it's not just a dream anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's something you could actually fail at.
Exactly. That's why they talk about breaking things down, getting super concrete with your goals, even tiny, tiny steps.
Okay, I'm a total to-do list person, so I get that. Micro goals.
Yes. And that how to achieve your goals and make all your dreams come true video really stresses that too.
So like if your dream is to be an astronaut,
Hmm.
amazing. But what tiny thing can you do today to move closer?
Right.
Could you research space programs? Watch a documentary?
Even reading a biography of an astronaut is a step.
Totally.
Yeah.
Even looking at that question on Career Village, what is the best way to achieve your dream?
Yeah.
They talk about breaking it down.
It feels less overwhelming when you see those smaller steps.
For sure. Then there's this whole thing about visualization and planning. Lots of sources talk about it.
Like 7 Easy Ways and that Career Village thread.
Yeah, making something tangible to represent your goals. Like, vision boards.
It's almost like you're tricking your brain into believing it's already happening.
Whoa.
But that 7 Easy Ways article also talks about journaling, just consistently getting those thoughts down.
Right, right.
And that How to Achieve Your Goals video, they even suggest syncing notes to a Google Doc.
Ooh, always accessible. I like that.
Right.
But Desiree Stapleton in Pasted Text, she points out something important.
What's that?
Being realistic about your timelines.
Yeah.
Things happen, right? So you got to be flexible.
And that leads us right into another struggle. Procrastination. Those comfort zones.
Ooh.
How to finally start doing something about your dreams calls us out on that feeling of, I deserve a break, when really,
Oh, I know that feeling.
it's just an excuse to avoid the hard stuff.
So true. But that dopamine detox they talk about, that metaphor, it's kind of fascinating.
Isn't it? Instead of always chasing instant gratification, choosing things that are challenging.
Even if they don't give you that quick rush,
Mm-hmm.
it's a whole different way of looking at it.
Like that story in Taking the First Step to Achieve Your Dreams and Goals, betterodds.com,
Okay.
about the person who went rappelling.
Yeah, what about it?
Facing that fear actually led to this huge feeling of enjoyment.
So it wasn't just the thrill, but overcoming the hesitation.
Right. Makes you think, what else are we missing out on because we're too afraid to step outside that comfort zone?
That is a good question. But what about that dopamine detox idea? How do you actually put that into practice? Like, are we talking about totally avoiding stuff like social media or video games?
That's a great question. I don't think it's about avoiding things entirely. It's more about, being aware.
Aware of it.
Those things that give you that quick hit of dopamine but don't really leave you feeling satisfied.
Okay.
And then choosing to do things that align with your goals, even if they require more effort up front.
So being more intentional with your choices. I like that. It makes it feel less like deprivation.
Right. It's about making choices that match what you truly want. And that ties into embracing imperfection.
Ooh, tell me more about that.
Well, it's like in How to Finally Start Doing Something About Your Dreams, they talk about taking the pressure off.
Pressure off of what?
Achieving perfection. It's about
I know.
focusing on learning and growth.
So instead of getting paralyzed by the fear of not doing it perfectly, you just try things out.
Exactly. Learning as you go. It's more about the journey than some flawless end goal.
That makes a lot of sense. And there's that story in Taking the First Step about a business coaching workshop.
Mm.
They really emphasized progress over perfection, celebrating those tiny wins, which I think is so important.
It's easy to get caught up in that all or nothing thinking.
Yeah. And forget to acknowledge how far we've actually come.
Absolutely. Those little victories that keep you going. And speaking of support, lots of these sources, like what is the best way to achieve on Career Village and
Huh.
7 Easy Ways, they talk about community.
Finding people who believe in your dreams.
Exactly. It makes such a difference to have those cheerleaders in your corner.
But there's also a flip side, right? How to finally start doing something about your dreams. They share that story about the aspiring influencer
Right.
who gave up because of negativity from people around her. It's a reminder that not everyone will get it, and that's okay.
It is. You can't let those voices drown out your own drive.
And sometimes the most amazing things come from people who dared to dream differently.
Like who?
Like the Wright brothers,
Oh,
achieving flight when everyone thought it was impossible.
that's in that same article, right? Shows you the power of believing in your vision, even when others don't.
So powerful. And it's about like actively shutting out that negativity.
Focusing on the positive, like in 7 Easy Ways. Replacing envy with gratitude. Tuning out those naysayers.
So you can really hone in on your own drive.
Exactly. So I think this is a good spot to take a pause and reflect on what we've covered.
Okay, let's do it. We talked about dreaming big, but believably, breaking things down into doable steps. The power of visualizing and planning, battling procrastination, embracing imperfection, and finding your support system.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is. What really jumps out at you from all these sources?
For me, it's that focus on action, actually making those dreams real by taking those first steps.
Even if they're messy.
Exactly. It's easy to get lost in planning, but it's the doing that counts.
I agree. I also think it's about balancing, celebrating those little wins with keeping your eye on the bigger picture.
Enjoying the journey, but staying motivated to reach the destination.
Yeah. And, as we've been talking, I keep thinking about that big dream you mentioned earlier, the one that felt both exciting and attainable. How do all these ideas make you think differently about going after it?
You know what? It's funny you say that because thinking about all this makes me realize I've been way too focused on the big picture stuff.
Yeah, sometimes it can feel overwhelming, right?
Totally. And not enough on those smaller steps to get started.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So after looking at all these sources, what stands out to you now? What feels different?
It's the power of those tiny actions.
Like we were saying, even researching something related to your dream, that's a step.
It is. It's about that momentum, bit by bit.
Exactly. It's those micro goals. They seem small, but they add up.
They do.
And it makes me think about celebrating those small wins, too. It's so easy to forget to do that.
Oh, I know. We get fixated on the end goal.
Exactly. But celebrating can be a huge motivator, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like positive reinforcement.
The whole embracing imperfection thing, that really hit home for me.
In what way?
I get caught up in wanting things to be perfect before I even start. But these sources, they encourage a different approach,
Like what?
more experimental. It's not about hitting a home run every time. It's about trying things, learning from mistakes.
It takes the pressure off, for sure.
It does. It's more about the process, right? Growing and figuring things out.
Not some rigid definition of success.
Right. Which makes me think about that rappelling story again.
Oh, yeah.
The person wasn't worried about looking perfect, just taking those steps one after the other.
Trusting the process.
Yes. And it ties into that dopamine detox idea, too. By choosing challenging but fulfilling things.
You're basically retraining your brain.
To find satisfaction in the effort, not just the outcome.
Exactly. It's like you said, finding joy in the journey.
Not just the destination. Something I need to work on for sure.
No, we all. But these sources remind us we can shift our perspective.
How so?
Instead of thinking, I'll be happy when,
You're saying it becomes,
I'm finding joy in the process of.
ooh, I like that. Finding purpose in what you're doing every day, even when it's hard.
And that brings us to the importance of support, especially during those tough times, like the Career Village responses and 7 Easy Ways. They highlight that.
Having people around you who believe in your dream
Makes all the difference, those cheerleaders who encourage you.
and keep you going when you hit those bumps in the road.
Exactly. But we also have to remember, not everyone will understand or support our dreams, and that's okay.
Like that story about the influencer, sometimes the people closest to us don't get it.
And that's where your own drive becomes crucial, that belief in yourself.
You have to trust your gut and stay true to your vision, even when there's negativity.
And find those people who do resonate with your dreams. Build a community around that.
Because let's be real. Going after big goals can be lonely.
It can. Having those like-minded people, understanding your struggles, celebrating your wins.
It's so empowering.
It is. Like a built-in accountability system and a source of inspiration all rolled into one.
Yeah, you're not alone on this journey. And it makes me think about those who achieved amazing things, even when so many people doubted them, like the Wright brothers. Their belief in flight, even when everyone thought it was impossible.
That's so inspiring. Shows you the power of staying focused on what you believe in, even when the world's telling you to give up.
And actively shutting out that negativity.
Yes. Focusing on the positive, like we said. And it brings up something we haven't really talked about directly.
What's that?
The why. Why is this dream so important to you? What is it about this goal that really lights you up?
Ooh, that's a big question.
It is, but I think tapping into that deeper motivation, that purpose, it can really fuel you, especially when things get tough.
It's like connecting with the heart of your dream, right?
Exactly. Understanding what's driving you forward, why you started on this path in the first place.
Because when you know your why, it makes it easier to push through those obstacles, to stay committed.
It's like a guiding star, keeping you on course.
I love that imagery. And thinking about your why can help you make decisions too, right?
Absolutely. Does this choice align with my purpose? If not, maybe it's time to reconsider.
So it's about making sure your actions match your deepest motivations, that your dream is still serving you.
And sometimes that can be a big realization. Our dreams might need to shift as we grow.
Which is okay. It's all part of the process, right?
It is. It's about recognizing that change is inevitable. And sometimes letting go of a dream that's no longer right for you.
Can open up space for something even better.
Exactly. And it all starts with that willingness to take that first step, Embrace the unknown.
And trust that things will unfold as they should.
Letting go of that need for control. It's about having the courage to keep moving forward, even when the path seems unclear.
Because sometimes the best discoveries happen when we step outside those comfort zones.
Exactly. It's like venturing into a dark forest, right?
Ooh, I like that analogy.
There might be obstacles, but there's also amazing beauty to be found if you keep going.
That's what makes the journey so exciting. The unknown, the possibility.
The potential for growth and transformation.
Absolutely. It's about embracing the adventure, the twists and turns, and knowing those detours.
Can lead to amazing places.
Like taking the scenic route, finding hidden gems you never would have seen otherwise.
And trusting that the journey is as valuable as the destination. Savoring those moments along the way.
The growth, the connections, the discoveries, just being present with each step.
Because those moments, they shape us, they define our journey.
It's not just about achieving a specific goal, but about who we become in the process.
The growth, the lessons, the impact we have, and realizing that the journey never truly ends.
Whoa, that's deep. There's always a new dream to chase, a new challenge to embrace.
And that's the beauty of it all, those endless possibilities.
The never-ending journey of growth.
Exactly.
I love that. It's a reminder that we're all works in progress.
Always learning, always creating. That's what makes life so exciting and meaningful.
Embracing the journey, knowing it makes us who we are.
So, as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, what's one piece of advice based on everything we've discussed?
That you'd give to someone who's feeling stuck or discouraged on their journey.
I would say, remember your why. Tap into that core motivation that's driving you, and then take one small step. Even if it's imperfect, even if it seems insignificant, because that one step can start a chain reaction.
That's beautiful. And I would add, don't be afraid to dream big, but break those dreams down into smaller steps and celebrate every single win along the way, because every step forward, no matter how small, is worth celebrating.
It's those little wins, they really keep you going, especially when things get tough.
Like little sparks of motivation, right? Reminding you of why you started in the first place. Through all these sources, one thing keeps coming back to me.
What's that?
It's the idea of actually doing something. It's not enough to just dream and make plans.
We got to take action.
Exactly. And that's where I think a lot of people get stuck. That first step can be so scary.
It can be.
But so many of these sources say that it's often the hardest part.
Makes sense. Once you get going, it's easier to keep moving.
Yeah, like you gain momentum, you start to feel more confident.
And those next steps feel a little less intimidating.
Exactly. Like in that repelling story from taking the first step to achieve your dreams and goals. Remember, that first step off the cliff, terrifying.
I bet.
But once they started, they found a rhythm, started trusting the process, and ended up loving it.
It's amazing how fear can hold us back,
It really is. But then we take that step, and often realize it wasn't as bad as we imagined.
And that can be so empowering.
Right. Like breaking through a wall and seeing a whole new world of possibilities.
That reminds me of that quote from How to Finally Start Doing Something About Your Dreams.
Which one?
You don't start, you've already failed.
Ooh, that's a powerful one.
It's a reminder that not doing anything, that's a kind of failure too.
So we have a choice, right? Action or inaction. So what's one small step you can take today, right now, towards your dream?
Good question.
It could be anything. Sending an email, making a phone call, signing up for a class, even just jotting down a few micro goals. The point is to do something.
Because today's the only day we have control over, right now.
Exactly. Yesterday is gone, and tomorrow, who knows? But right now, we can choose action over inaction, progress over perfection.
Courage over fear.
Yes. And by making those choices, we set things in motion that can get us closer to those dreams.
So go out there and take that step. Then another and another. Before you know it, you'll be amazed at how far you've come.
Looking back and seeing that path you created, all from those small steps, it's pretty incredible, isn't it? And remember, we're here to cheer you on. Keep dreaming, keep learning, keep growing, keep taking action.
And most importantly, never stop believing in the power of your dreams.
Until next time, keep diving deep into those sources you've gathered. There's so much wisdom and inspiration waiting to be discovered. And remember, even the tiniest step towards your dream is a win. So keep reaching for those stars.